podcast.
Hey there, and welcome to a new deep dive. You're here because you're thinking about boosting your English, right? Maybe you've wondered if you could actually see some real changes in just 1 month.
It's a common question.
Well, we've dug into the research and some solid strategies, and the short answer is a definite yes. Let's unpack how.
Exactly. And look, forget the idea of overnight fluency. That's not really realistic.
Right.
What we're looking at is how focused effort, smart techniques, and just showing up consistently can lead to really noticeable, powerful improvements in your English over the next 30 days.
So we're going to break down some practical steps you can start taking, well, right now.
Pretty much.
Consider this your roadmap for the next month. We're not promising miracles, but we are going to show you how to make some, significant strides. So, you ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Let's do it. And the very first thing to consider, maybe even before specific exercises, is your mindset.
Okay, mindset. Yeah, but let's be honest. Some people listening might have thoughts like, oh, it's too late for me, or my English is just bad, or even maybe I'm just not good at languages.
Do those sound familiar? They probably do for many. And what's interesting, the research suggests that if you believe those things, it can actually make learning harder. It's that self-fulfilling prophecy idea.
Right, you think you can't, so you don't try as hard, or...
Exactly. But the data is clear. The people who don't succeed, they're the ones who stop trying. Perseverance is key.
That's a really powerful point.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to commit, and we're talking maybe just 15 or 20 minutes of focused practice each day,
Just showing up.
and making a conscious effort to bring English into different parts of your day for the next month.
If you do that, if you make that commitment, that consistent engagement, even in small doses, it really builds up. It leads to real growth.
Showing up regularly is crucial.
Absolutely. And if you do, you can definitely expect to see meaningful progress. Real powerful progress.
All right, so mindset. Stay positive. Stay committed. Got it. Let's get into our first practical tip then. Surround yourself with English.
Okay.
Now, this might sound obvious, but how can you really do that, especially if you're not, living in an English-speaking country?
That's a really good question. And the sources give some great, tangible ideas. Think about your daily tech for a start.
Like your phone.
Yeah, could you change your phone's language setting to English? Or what about the videos you watch? YouTube, for instance.
Oh, right. Find channels in English.
Exactly. And the important thing here is pick topics you actually enjoy. Like if you love gaming, watch gaming videos in English. Cooking, motivation, whatever holds your interest.
That makes so much sense, because if it feels like a chore, you won't stick with it.
Precisely.
But watching something you like, you're learning almost without realizing it.
Yeah.
The sources also mention following English speakers on social media, maybe Instagram or TikTok.
Absolutely. And listening to English audio like this deep dive.
Exactly.
And what's fascinating here is how this constant exposure starts to work. You don't have to understand every single word right away.
Okay.
Your brain just starts getting used to the rhythm, the sounds, the patterns of English. It's like acclimatizing.
I like the example in the sources about watching, say, a cooking video. The first time, maybe you only catch a few words. Flour, egg, mix.
Right. But watch it again, you might understand a bit more. Mix the flour and eggs.
And then the really effective part, actually trying to follow along, maybe even repeating some phrases out loud. Okay, now I add the milk.
Exactly. And that simple action, it combines listening, picking up new vocabulary, cooking words in this case, and even gets you practicing pronunciation. It's super efficient.
Okay, great first tip. Tip number 2, tackle something tricky. Speak every day, even if you're alone.
Ah, yes, the speaking hurdle.
Yeah, lots of people feel stuck here, no one to practice with, or they're shy, worried about mistakes.
Very common barriers. But the sources offer some really useful practical solutions for solo practice.
Like what?
Well, you can try just talking to yourself. Narrate your actions. Okay, I'm making coffee now. Or just say your thoughts out loud in English.
Talking to yourself. Okay.
Or stand in front of a mirror. Have a little chat with your reflection. Talk about your day, your plans.
Right, like practicing a little presentation.
Kind of. And another good one is recording yourself. Use your phone. It might feel weird at first,
I bet.
but it's so valuable for hearing how you actually sound and tracking your improvement over time.
So the main thing is just opening your mouth and making the sounds.
Yeah,
Getting comfortable with speaking English, period.
exactly. Just start simple. Talk about your day. I woke up. I ate breakfast. Or what you're doing right now. I am listening to this deep dive. Or your goals. I want to improve my English.
Right.
And here's what the sources called the magic bit. By actually forming the words, speaking them aloud, you train your brain to think directly in English.
Cutting out the translation step.
Precisely. It's fundamental for sounding more natural, more confident, and speaking faster eventually. You're building those English pathways in your brain.
Like building muscle memory for your mouth and brain. And the sources suggest this daily practice, even just a few minutes, leads to noticeable speaking improvements within 30 days.
That's the promise, yes. Daily effort pays off quickly with speaking.
Great motivation. Okay, tip number 3, learn useful vocabulary, not just long lists.
Oh, this is a big one.
I think we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Trying to memorize pages of words from a dictionary that you never ever use.
Absolutely. And the sources really stress that this is often, well, not the best use of your time. It's inefficient.
So what's the alternative?
Focus on high-frequency words, the words native speakers use constantly in everyday conversation, the basis.
The sources gave good examples. Common verbs like go, come, eat, make, need, feel.
Everyday nouns, house, job, car, time, friend.
Useful adjectives. Good, bad, easy, hard, fast, slow.
And those essential phrases. I don't know, can you help me? What do you mean? These are the real building blocks.
They really are. So how do you learn them effectively? The sources mentioned a 4-step process.
Yes, a very practical one. First, say the word or phrase out loud. Hear yourself say it.
Okay.
Second, write it down. Engage that physical connection.
Right.
Third, and this is really key, use it in a sentence that means something to you. Make it personal.
Connected to your own life.
Exactly. And fourth, revisit it. Try to recall and use it again the next day, maybe the day after too. Spaced repetition, essentially.
I like that emphasis on making it personal. The example with the word difficult was good. Instead of just the definition, make sentences like, this grammar point is difficult for me, or it was difficult to wake up early today.
Precisely. That's how you truly own the word. It moves from passive recognition to active use.
Makes total sense. Okay, tip number 4 introduces a technique called shadowing. Listen and repeat, like a shadow.
Yes, shadowing. It's incredibly good for pronunciation and fluency.
How does it work exactly?
So you listen to a short bit of English audio, a sentence or two from a podcast, maybe a movie clip.
Okay.
Then you immediately pause and repeat what you just heard. The key is trying to copy everything: the pronunciation, the rhythm, the intonation, the pauses.
So you're literally trying to sound like a shadow of the original speaker.
Pretty much. And what's so effective is that it engages listening and speaking together, actively. You're not just hearing, you're reproducing.
Training your ear and your mouth at the same time.
Exactly. Helps you notice subtle sounds and practice making them. Leads to much more natural sounding speech.
The sources did say it might feel a bit awkward or difficult at first, maybe like you're always slightly behind.
It can, yeah. Takes practice. But they emphasize the payoff. You start sounding more natural, your speed improves, even your pausing gets better.
And it's perfect for solo learners, right? No partner needed.
That's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, moving to tip number 5. Read and write a little every day.
Right. So not just speaking and listening. Reading and writing matter too.
They absolutely do. They support everything else, especially vocabulary and understanding grammar in context.
So what kind of reading? The sources suggested keeping it accessible.
Yeah, don't start with Shakespeare unless you really want to. Think news websites for learners, short stories, or even just using English subtitles when you watch things.
Subtitles are great for that.
Yeah.
And for writing.
Keep it simple again, a small journal. Just jot down a few sentences each day. What you did, something new you learned, how you're feeling.
The example journal entry was good. Today, I studied English for 20 minutes. I learned the word confident. I feel more confident. Simple, but effective.
Exactly. It doesn't need to be perfect prose. The habit is the important thing.
Right. Reading helps you see sentence structure and vocab.
And writing helps you actively use that vocab and grammar. The sources noted you'll likely see your sentences get better, more complex over time just from that small daily practice.
Nice. Which leads us nicely to tip number 6. Don't worry about grammar too much.
Music to many learners' ears, perhaps.
I think so. This idea that you have to master all the grammar rules before you can speak, it stops a lot of people.
It really does create unnecessary fear. The sources are clear. You don't need perfect grammar to start communicating. In fact, a lot of grammar is absorbed naturally.
How so?
Through exposure and use. Think about basic verb tenses, like the example, I eat, I ate, I will eat. You start understanding these patterns by seeing and hearing them used correctly over and over.
You don't necessarily need to know the terms present simple or past simple to use them in basic sentences.
Exactly. You learn grammar by using the language, by trying, by making mistakes, and noticing the patterns.
So the advice is, don't let grammar fear paralyze you. Just speak, communicate.
Precisely. Communicate first, refine later. You learn through experience.
Okay, and that brings us to the final tip, number 7, which kind of pulls it all together. Be consistent, not perfect.
Yes, if there's one single takeaway, one golden rule from all the material we looked at, this is probably it.
It's not about blocking out huge chunks of time for study.
Not necessarily. What's far more effective, according to the sources, is showing up consistently. Putting in that focused effort, even if it's just 15 or 20 minutes, but doing it every single day for these 30 days.
That daily rhythm.
That daily consistency is what builds the habit. And building positive habits, as the sources highlight, is just fundamental for any long-term success, language learning included. Create a routine you can actually stick with.
Okay, so let's circle back. We started by asking, can you really improve your English in 30 days?
And based on these strategies, these tips grounded in how language learning seems to work, the answer is a definite yes.
But it's not magic. It's not about waiting for the perfect time or cramming.
No, it's about taking small, smart, manageable steps consistently, every day.
Let's quickly recap those 7 keys then. 1, surround yourself, create that English environment.
2, speak every day, even if it's solo practice. Just open your mouth.
3, focus on useful, high-frequency vocabulary, not endless lists.
4, listen and repeat, do that shadowing technique.
5, read and write a little bit each day. Keep it simple.
6, don't get bogged down by grammar anxiety. Focus on communication.
And 7, the big one, be consistent. Show up daily, even for a short time.
That's the roadmap.
We really believe, based on everything we've looked at, that with focus and that consistent effort, you can make significant progress in the next 30 days.
Absolutely.
So the message is, don't wait, don't overthink it. Start today. Take one small step from this list.
Implement one thing, and then another tomorrow.
And in just 1 month, you might be genuinely surprised and hopefully really proud of how far you've come.
We hope so. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into boosting your English in 30 days.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. And if you found these ideas helpful, maybe share this with someone else who's on their English learning journey.
Good idea. Remember, it's a process, it's ongoing. Keep at it.
Take care, keep learning, and definitely keep speaking English.